A Journey Through Time and Space to the Fairyland, Story 1. Hundun Celestial. April 16, 2006. In the 5th year of Emperor Ming of the Han Dynasty's Yongping era, 62 AD, Lu Chen and Ruan Zhao, two men from Yan County, ventured into the Tiantai Mountains to collect medicinal herbs. They followed familiar mountain trails, trekking through the wilderness. At midday, the peaks and valleys were suddenly enveloped in thick mist. Before long, they lost their way, wandering through dense forests and overgrown grass, unable to find the path home. For 13 days, they roamed the mountains. Their provisions were completely depleted, forcing them to survive on wild fruits. One day, the mist finally cleared, and brilliant sunlight bathed the forest. Suddenly, they spotted a towering peach tree laden with large peaches on the opposite mountain. Overcome with hunger and exhaustion, they rushed toward the tree without hesitation. However, the tree grew on a cliffside, and they had to climb precarious branches and vines, risking their lives to reach it. At last, they managed to climb onto the tree. Famished, they quickly plucked the peaches and devoured them ravenously. The peaches were crisp and juicy, bringing them immense delight. After eating more than a dozen, they felt completely rejuvenated. They picked a few more and stored them in their satchels before continuing to climb. Eventually, they reached the peak and gazed into the distance, taking in the vast expanse before them. Towering emerald peaks rose in layers, shrouded in a haze of purple mist. The landscape was pristine, and the air was crisp and refreshing. Descending the mountain, they came across a crystal-clear stream gurgling through the valley. They knelt by the water, cupped their hands to drink, and washed their faces. Instantly, they felt a surge of energy and pure joy. Just as they were about to leave, they noticed vegetable leaves floating downstream, with sesame rice grains clinging to them. Realizing that there must be people living upstream, they decided to follow the stream. After walking for about 2 or 3 miles, a magnificent, shimmering lake suddenly appeared before them. White cranes soared above, and gentle ripples danced across the water, an idyllic paradise. As they approached the lakeside, a breathtaking scene unfolded before their eyes. 2 graceful and dignified young women of mesmerizing, ethereal beauty were gracefully bathing in the lake. As Lu and Ruan drew near, the 2 women rose from the water with effortless grace. Crystal-clear droplets sparkled like pearls as they trickled down their raven-black hair, delicate faces, and willow-like figures. Smiling, they spoke in unison, "Lu and Ruan, today is a joyous occasion for us. Come, take off your clothes and join us for a bath." Hearing their names spoken by 2 strangers, Lu and Ruan were momentarily stunned. But upon closer look, the women seemed oddly familiar, as if they had seen them before. Unable to resist, they removed their clothes and entered the lake. The 2 enchanting women moved closer and gently helped them bathe, their soft hands gliding over their bodies. A wave of indescribable pleasure surged through them, as if they had been reborn. After their bath, they dressed and followed the women home to rest. The house stood enclosed by a fence of red willows, its roof adorned with bamboo tiles. Inside, soft lighting cast a warm, inviting glow, and the room felt airy and comfortable. 2 large beds stood against the southern and northern walls, draped in pale blue silk canopies, with silver wind chimes dangling from each corner. As the breeze whispered through the room, the chimes sang with crisp, melodious notes. Adorned with emeralds, agates, and other gemstones, the room exuded an air of opulence. By each bed stood more than a dozen handmaidens, their beauty as delicate and radiant as moonlit fairies. The 2 women gently guided the handmaidens. "Our esteemed guests, Lu and Ruan, have traveled far and endured much. Even after eating some celestial peaches, they must still be tired and famished. Prepare a grand feast at once." The handmaidens bustled about, and soon, a lavish banquet was laid before them. Apart from sesame rice, the dishes were completely unfamiliar to them. The 2 celestial women gracefully served them food and wine, treating them like honored kings. Before long, a group of maidens arrived, each carrying a tray with a massive ginseng fruit. In unison, they sang, "Congratulations to our two elder sisters. Today, we rejoice in the arrival of your husbands. To mark this joyous occasion, we have gathered 4 celestial fruits for you and your beloveds to savor." As their words faded, the maidens began to dance, a performance of utmost allure and seduction. As Lu and Wan savored the celestial fruits and watched the enchanting dance, they felt an exhilarating surge of vitality bursting forth within them, washing away all traces of weariness. It was as if a fountain of youthful energy had been unleashed, filling them with boundless vigor. Time slipped away swiftly, and as night descended, the 2 celestial women tenderly guided them to their respective beds, gently untying their robes. The sight of their luminous, ethereal bodies, the delicate whispers that caressed their ears, and the intoxicating fragrance that filled the air, all intertwined into a night of unbridled ecstasy. Their passion raged like a waterfall plunging from a towering peak, at times a violent tempest with howling winds and torrential rain, at times a tender embrace of gentle breezes and misty drizzles. It was really, the most breathtaking views are found on the perilous peaks, and, a silver torrent cascades 3,000 feet, as though the Milky Way has fallen from the 9th heaven. Lu and Ruan stayed in this celestial paradise for over 10 days, casting aside all worldly troubles. However, one day, a sudden yearning for the mortal world arose, and they expressed their desire to return home. The 2 celestial women, their eyes filled with tender affection, pleaded with them with endless affection, their voices soft and imploring. And so, they remained for another 6 months. Yet, in the end, their longing for their families proved too strong to ignore, and they firmly insisted on leaving the celestial realm. With no other choice, the celestial women held a grand farewell banquet, filled with music and dance, before reluctantly showing them the way home. Guided by the celestial women, Lu and Ruan struggled through the dense mountains and forests, finally returning to their long-lost homeland. To their utter astonishment, they found that their former relatives and friends had all passed away, and the familiar sights of their past had been replaced by an entirely new world. After much effort, they managed to locate descendants from their family line, 7 generations removed. It is said that in the 8th year of Emperor Xiaowu of the Eastern Jin Dynasty's Taiyuan era, the 2 men left their hometown once more, never to be seen or heard from again. No one knew where they had gone.